Welcome back to MaxTradesCrypto. Apologies for my voice. I've been a little bit sick this week, but that's all good. I'm here with another video for today. So we're going to be discussing just the short-term time frame starting from the low at $48,000 that was made on the 6th of August 2024. Now, what we are seeing here after a correction is we are still seeing a five-wave structure to the upside. Remember, there are two things that can happen after a correction from the low at 48,000. We are either looking for something along the lines of a five-wave structure, or we are looking for something along the lines of a diagonal, something like this, where wave 1 and wave 4 overlap in price. So these are the two things after a correction that we look for in Elliott Wave Theory. So now if we look at what is occurring on the imminent short term, we can see here that we have a five-wave structure towards the upside. Now that is yet to be complete. Inside this five-wave structure, we have another five-wave structure in the wave 3. You can see here the wave 2 and the wave 3 on the chart. Inside that, we have another five-wave structure to the upside that is also yet to be complete. So we are currently in the wave 4 of the green here, and we did complete another five-wave structure inside that green wave 3. So it's almost infinite. Inside the white wave 3, there will be a five wave. Inside the green wave 3, a five wave. Inside the pink wave 3, a five wave. So we just keep breaking down those five wave structures, but this is what we are looking at on the 4-hourly time frame currently. At the moment, we are still in this green wave 4 on the chart. You can see here that we have not yet made this a low, followed by another big move towards the upside. So we can see this is very, very choppy price action from this area. Oftentimes this comes in a wave 4, causing a lot of fear in the markets. You can see that by the way altcoins have dropped, the way that the fear and greed index sits today at a 38 out of 100. That altcoin season has not yet started. So we are looking at very, very choppy price action. But in those moves to come, finishing the green wave 5, followed by a 4 and a 5, I expect a lot more traders to jump into the market. That is what I expect to happen here. But we did have this green box on the chart for a very, very long time now. It's been quite a while since I put this up here, and every time if you were to invest in where this green box touched or was touched by Bitcoin, there would be a good area to long from. At the moment, it's almost touching again, so the likelihood it is a good area to long, as this is creating quite a nice support box, is very, very high. So do keep in mind if you would like to trade this area on the 4-hourly time frame. But at the moment, we are looking at this micro scenario here. So if we go into the 1-hourly time frame, we can see here that we are looking for a WXY towards the downside in wave 4. So we have two structures that can happen in Elliott Wave Theory. We have, on a corrective structure, we have an standard ABC. This ABC can come in very, very different variations. We can have things like an ABC that looks something like this, an ABC that looks something like this. There are quite a few variations, but at the moment we're not looking at that, not looking at an ABC. Currently we are looking at a WXY, also a corrective structure that looks similar to an ABC, except in each move in a WXY we have a 3-wave structure. 3 waves in B and 3 waves in C. This is the definition of a WXY, and we look for things, or not an ABC, apologies for that, a WXY. Inside the WXY, we look for multiple ABCs, this being an ABC, ABC, and then another ABC. just like that. So currently on the chart, that is what we are seeing. We can see here that we have this WXY towards the downside, and a B followed by a C in W, as you can see here in light pink, followed by a very sharp wave X. Oftentimes a wave X can be any corrective structure and possibly very, very sharp. That is what we are currently looking at, an wave X here. And now we are looking for that wave Y to the downside. Now wave Y is oftentimes an ABC structure, as we discussed previously, and we are now looking for, in the wave A 5-wave structure here, a 3-wave structure in B, and another 5-wave structure in C. This move would target around the 0.386 at $86,690, a very, very important level that we've been talking about for a very, very long time. But I'll get to that in trade possibilities now. Currently, we have that diagonal that I mentioned earlier, starting in the wave A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, finishing that wave A in blue, and now we are looking for a wave B that targets around $99,000 to $100,000. Followed by that move, we should see quite a rapid sell-off towards that $86,000 level, where I would be longing from on our trade possibilities. That is a very, very good level at the moment. This is our main scenario. All the other scenarios that I could break down and could present to you guys follow a relatively similar path. We are all looking for somewhat deeper price action in this green box, and at the moment, the bulls and bears are just fighting around in this range. This has created a very, very rectangular range here. You can see that anytime we touch the bottom side of this range, the bottom 50%, it is often a good area to long from. So do keep an eye on this range when it is broken towards the downside. Oftentimes people think when a range is broken that we are going much, much lower, and we just find support just a little bit lower than the lows in the range. Very similar here. We created a range here. Everyone thought, okay, cool, we can long from areas around this point. We broke through that range. People got very scared very quickly, but we came back up. So do watch out for one of those moves like that. So that is our main scenario on the chart. If we go over towards trend lines, this is a very, very important thing at the moment. These are the two trend lines I'm looking at. This main trend line on the chart that I'm looking at is this one here, this white line here, as we have a very good confluence, a mix of signals targeting that 0.382. Imagine if we were to come up, hit that B wave target, and then come down in a wave C, hitting that 0.382, hitting that trend line and finding a great area of support before that big move towards the upside. That is what I'm looking at here on trend lines. If that trend line is broken, we obviously look for 1 degree lower. It is very possible that the C wave extends and we do end up touching a lot lower at around that 77, maybe around the $79,000 region. Then if we remove the trend lines and take out our short-term daily fair value gaps, we can see here that the two fair value gaps are also very, very close towards our trend line. So either the trend line coming through here, touching here, would indeed touch the fair value gap as well. This is often looked at an area of support, or coming down, just breaking through, touching that fair value gap is also a big possibility. So do keep in mind these fair value gaps on the charts, as they can be quite important. They are often acted as a support and resistance level. Here, support is very, very possible. Now, for trade possibilities starting on the 4-hourly time frame. In my head, it is very, very simple. We have three confluences of targets. We have number one, the 0.382 sitting at $86,000 right here. That is a very, very strong level for a wave 4, and it is possible we come down to that level. That is the first indication of where to long from. Second indication from where to long from is this trend line. Very, very possible that we touch this trend line and we see a support from that area. That is number 2. And number 3, the short-term fair value gaps. It is very possible that we touch this area at around $85,000 and find support off that region. Number 3. So, in summary, I would long from $86,690 with quite a big area for it to run lower, possibly putting your stop loss at the 0.618 at $74,805. The likelihood that we shatter through all those trend lines and support levels is very, very low for that wave 4, and I still do believe we are in a bullish market and not hitting those levels of price. So do keep an eye on all those levels, please, and don't trade dangerously in this very choppy range. It is possible that we can come up even more and then followed by that C wave. So do be careful when you trade. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Do join the Discord in the description where you can get daily updates and more content that side. But it's been Max Trades Crypto. Cheers, guys.